Hi, thanks for checking out our channel. Hopefully this video will help somebody out or something like that. But if you want to know more about us, go to our website. There's links down in the description area below. But it's fencerfixer.com is our site, and there's all of our information, free quotes and 18-month warranties on whatever we fix. But this is a big old unit. I mean, this thing is huge. Look at the size of this thing. This thing is monstrous. But this unit came into us for repair just a little while back, and I worked on a handful of PEL units, but I've never worked on one this size physically. But I think the customer said that it was working, clicks, pulses, but there's no output or very little. So I'm gonna guess that the transformer is the issue, and this one in particularly is a 220 volt unit. So I'm gonna have to get the power supply out and hook up 220 volt to it. But before we do that, I want to open it up. Maybe we'll get the power supply for it. So we're going to use our 220 volt power supply to run it. So let me plug it in, and then I'm going to get a jumper cord for it that will run it. This is, yeah, it's powered up first, and then we're going to see what this thing does. But yeah, it says 208 to 226 volt. So I'm going to put my clips and wires on there, and it's ran to that little 220 volt power supply. Clipped it onto itself back here, so that way working. So I don't want these wires to slip and touch one another on accident, so I'm going to clip it back on itself so it can't really come in contact with it. All right, I'll set it down here. All right, let's see what this thing does. It's flashing, cycling, but it's not clicking. All right, so I don't think there's any parts made for this thing anymore. Probably put some capacitors in it, stuff like that. But let's see how this thing comes apart. All right, looks like we got a bunch of Phillips screws. I don't know about these ones. These probably hold a transformer in or something right here. We'll take all these outer ones out on the edge. The guy said he bought this thing in the mid-late 90s or early 2000s. He said it was local feed store was going out of business, and he got a good deal on it. That's why he bought it. He says he's had it worked on I think twice, and it runs for a few years and quits. And so the last place he sent it to wasn't working on fence chargers anymore. The guy that used to do it, I guess, got out of it, passed away or something. But I'm hoping that's all the screws we got to take out. The ones around the edge. The good thing is all of them the same size. We'll hold off on these 4 right here, or 6 right there. Let's back over. Oh boy. Man, that is a wild looking thing inside there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 capacitors, and each of them are 50 microfarad capacitors. Got these. It's got three big coils right here, big old things right here. Let's take this circuit board off. It's even got, that's something right there. This big coil there's broken. Let's get this board out of here. We're gonna screw here, screw right here on this other corner, and it's held on these little tab things there, so we'll get a screwdriver behind it. What? Oh, yeah, you did. Somewhere around here. There's a circuit board. There's the inside of this thing. Look at this. It is something else. The good thing is these capacitors, check them all out. I mean, they're all soldered together and everything. This is a wild contraption. What a weird, wild thing that they had here going on. Strong unit. I don't know what size jewel this thing is. I have no idea. Maybe one of you guys know. Tell me, especially if you sold this model overseas. But this coil right here has got a burn spot in the wire, and it sits in this little spot where the epoxy that holds it in place is broken loose. These are still holding. But I don't know if this issue's in this board, which I doubt they make the boards anymore. It's an old unit. I've never seen one of these before. You see these hot spots in the board there and over here. Someone's fixed the board there. Yeah, someone's dicked around with it before. You got your lightning protection board here. Look at the size of that transformer. That thing is huge. Big old coil of wire on the inside of that epoxy. Take this board out. So light bulbs and the lightning protection stuff over here. Until it's been worked on a bunch. Let's just check these capacitors just to see what they're reading. Of course, they're all wired and soldered all together now, so I don't know what we're going to read. Not really getting much out of it at all. but it could be that one of these is bad, seized up, and you can't. And since they're all tied together, you can't get a reading off of any of them. So let me get a pair of side cutters here, and we're gonna cut that wire, cut this wire, and I'm gonna test it on its own. See what it reads, see if it shows anything. If it doesn't, we know we're definitely bad. Well, it's 50 microfarad capacitor, and it reads 50.8, so that capacitor is good. Yeah, how old this thing is, pretty. So you can't get anything out of it. Nothing there either. So the little two screws on the back of the case were for these things, I think. I'm going to start numbering these things just so I know. Put 1 here, 4 here. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. God, look at all that wiring on there. Jeez. Well, we're just going to have to start playing with this thing. Let's discharge these caps in case there's a charge built up in them. I don't want to get hit by accident. This might be a 2 or 3 part video, depending on how long this one takes to fiddle with, or until I get tired of working on it. Cut that wire. This top wire solders all the way across and is tied into that one too. So that's that one, and then these two are tied together. And that, so I'm going to test all 3 of them again. See what they read. Nothing there. All right, let's break this right there. There's our bad one right there. I think we got 2 bad ones. Or it's I think see, there's 101, which, let me do one more cut, do it right here. This one's basically out of the circuit now. We're gonna go across it by itself now. So this one doesn't read anything. $101, 102. So these two are good because they're tied together in parallel, which makes them add up. So 50 a piece and reading 102. So that's fine. Let's read this one again just to make sure. So I think we've got one bad capacitor so far. I don't know. I'm going to bridge those back together, of course. And I don't know about this thing. This coil of wire here. I don't think it's actually burnt. Let's see if we can test the output, or the input and output of the transformer. Make sure the primaries and everything are good. Looks like the primaries. This wire, I don't know what the primaries are at. You got a bunch of wires coming. I'll use the primaries or a probably, I would say, probably, I don't know, let's see, fence and ground's all the way down. Fence and ground's way down at this end. I have enough room on my bench for this big old thing. Let's see if we can trace it back. So red and blue wires here into here. Blue wire goes here and tied back into the board somehow. I'm just going to ohm things out, just see what happens with it. I think that's the primary. We're in 0 ohms, which is fine, which is good. So we'll wait on that. Let me find see if I can find two more, or one more. I think we got one capacitor. I think this first one was bad. We find another capacitor that's a 50 microfarad capacitor that will work. You know, I got a 60 and a 50. A 50 is physically smaller. What's the ratings on this voltage wise? 900 volt DC, 700 volts DC. So see what happens here. All right, I'm gonna flip these this way. So let's do this, right? That's shorter wire and it's a longer wire, so it's going to be like that. So we're going to bridge those together. I'm going to get some wire. I'm going to solder them across there. I'm about to run out of time here in a minute. So why don't I stop this video? I'll make a part 2 out of this. And then, but that'll be soldering this thing back together and plugging things back in and see what happens. Maybe we'll luck out. Maybe we'll strike out, but we're going to see what happens. So we'll make a part 2 on this and see what happens. And if you like this kind of stuff, make sure to like the video and hit subscribe. And we'll see you later.